This video is dedicated to the many blowhard Muslim commentators who have made ineffective threats against me on my videos, channel, and inbox. There is a point upon which both Al-Qaeda and the by any means necessary opponents of political Islam, such as those that oppose the Ground Zero Mosque, agree that America and Islam are at war. I dissent from that conclusion. To be clear, for those Muslims who live in countries where dissent is not allowed, that means that I disagree. Although I will refrain in this video from explaining my judgment on this point, others are free to make the pro and con cases in comments below. Perhaps one of you can convince me to change my mind. Today I want to focus on what America would do if we were in fact actually at war with Islam, with two purposes on my part. One, to remind Muslims of the destruction Americans would impose without remorse in an actual war. And two, to tweak those by any means necessary pretenders over the fecklessness of their activity. In an actual war, America would attack and destroy the center of gravity within Islam, which is Mecca, upon which two pillars of their faith are dependent. We would conquer the city, expel its inhabitants, despoil it with much taboo breaking, raze it to the ground, and then pollute and fortify it in such a manner that would prevent future Hajjs. No Hajjs ever again. Such actions would concretize the failure of Islam in reality and concentrate any remaining militants on a small front separated from civilians. Frankly, the biggest challenge of such a campaign could be supplying sufficient munitions and arms to liquidate the hostiles, which would be solved by making some green glass. Yet we have not done this. Why? Despite Al-Qaeda's propaganda, such as selecting Saudis for the September 11th attacks, the House of Saud has generally been a responsible ally on issues of international security and trade. It is the House of Saud who is the effective guardian of the Hijaz. Meanwhile, Al-Qaeda and the other terrorists on multiple fronts put the Hijaz, Mecca, and Islam at risk of utter destruction. However, other countries victimized by terrorists who claim to act in the name of Islam could, barring the close American-Saudi relationship, effect the same destruction upon Mecca. The Russians, Indians, Chinese, British, and Israelis have the military strength to protect their citizens from Muslim terrorists by destroying Mecca, and thereby Islam. But they have not done so yet. To Muslims who do not advocate and defend terrorism, including that by Hamas and Hezbollah, I hope that this video concretizes for you that the Americans are not yet at war with Islam. Neither are the Russians, Indians, Chinese, British, nor Israelis. Allowing the violent terrorists to claim Islam as their mode of power puts all Islam at risk of destruction. In fear of these criminals, if you remain silent and inactive against those terrorists who claim Islam, then ultimately you may have protected yourself from them at the price of being complicit in Islam's destruction. To Muslims who do advocate and defend terrorism, there is a point at which we will fail to distinguish you from Islam. You will know when we have reached that point, because Mecca will have been turned into a toxic landfill, and two pillars of Islam will be vaporized. Those who were Muslims will repudiate Islam, Muhammad, and Allah en masse as reality overwhelms their medieval beliefs. To Americans that believe that we are at war with Islam, please stop advocating abusive domestic government power to violate individual rights so as to placate your emotions. Stopping a mosque at ground zero by tyrannical means will not defeat Islam, but destroying the Grand Mosque at Mecca will. If you actually judge that we are at war with Islam, then try advocating an effective public policy instead. In summary, America is not yet at war with Islam. If such a war were to become fact, then both Mecca and the barbaric fiction of Islam will be destroyed without the need for a wider campaign beyond the Hijaz. Peace, through reason, justice, freedom, production, and achievement, in reality upon this earth.